States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for that. I'd like to, at this time, I want to welcome members of the Dutchess County Commission on Human Rights. They requested a few minutes of our time tonight to inform us about their work, discuss current issues in the county, and how the commission can assist and collaborate in sharing information with local municipalities. We have been provided a handout to the board members, and there are some available on the back table as well. So please welcome and give your attention to Jody Miller and Jenna Ray. Should be on.
Okay, so thank you and good evening. So my name is Jody Miller. I'm the Executive Director of the Dutchess County Commission on Human Rights, and I'm here with Commission Member Jenna Ray. And the purpose of tonight's visit is really to talk about, to introduce the Commission to all of you and the residents here in the town of Clinton. Develop a closer collaboration and partnership in terms of sharing information and collaborating on community events, explain what we do as a commission, what we don't do, and talk about some of the current issues that we have seen in the county. So just a really brief history. The Commission on Human Rights was originally established in 1984 and was reestablished in 2016 by County Executive Mark Molinaro and the Dutchess County Legislature. I'm the Executive Director. We have 14 volunteer commission members who are leaders throughout the county. They represent all areas of the county. And our commission members are either appointed by the chairman of the legislature or by the county executive, and they serve 3-year terms. So we're really, really fortunate to have people dedicating their time as volunteers to carry out this really important work. Our mission is defending human rights, bridging differences, and embracing diversity. And we carry out that mission in several different ways. Our purpose, aligned with our mission, was developed in a county resolution stating what we are to do and what we don't do. So some of the things that we do are fostering mutual respect and understanding amongst all groups, educating the county's communities on issues of human rights, addressing discriminatory practices as well as tension and conflict and helping to resolve them, organizing and participating in community activities and events to build goodwill and foster alliances, developing programs to enhance inclusion and embracing diversity, and acting as a bridge to other resources, including the New York State Division of Human Rights. What we don't do is we do not investigate cases at the county level. So it's a really important distinction. So before COVID, all of us, we did a lot of things in person and we'd get out around the county quite a bit. When COVID came about, we shifted, like everyone else, pivoting to a lot of virtual programming, but also to things that we were hearing from the community were important. So there was, particularly in the beginning, there was a lot of questions about where to get resources, how COVID was working. So we were able to partner with the health commissioner here in Dutchess County to hold some webinars, just on basic questions that people were asking and wanted to hear from someone in a medical professional. We were also able to assist with other organizations such as All for One, One for All to talk about, to work on food drives because we knew that food insecurity had really increased. So just a couple of examples. Actually, 20 and 21 ended up by being some of our busiest years because of that pivoting to virtual programming. It allowed us to make it much more accessible in terms of educational programs. So Jenna's going to talk about some of the things that we do as far as educational programs, how we foster mutual respect and understanding. And there are slides in that PowerPoint that kind of go into, give pictures of some of the events and educational presentations that we've held.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I think I can, just without the thing, it'll be fine too. So good evening, everyone. My name is Jenna Ray. And as Jody said, I am one of the commission members. I'm a volunteer member. I started with the commission last year. So I've been working with this group for about 12 to 14 months. And prior to that, I was working at IBM. So I worked for 30 years at IBM as a software architect and product manager. I have lived in Dutchess County for about 22 years. And I have been in the United States since 1986. This is my home. And post-career, I wanted to give back to the community, engage with the community, and basically make it a more cohesive and more accepting of diversity place. So whichever way I can contribute, and that's one of the reasons I joined the commission. So one of the things that we have done is, and this is of course going back to the time even before I was a member, was conducting and recommending educational programs to increase goodwill and to open opportunities. And so in the past, we have hosted events, some in collaboration. So for instance, we collaborated with the Orange and Ulster County Commissions to present the speaker series. One of them was called Doing More Than Nothing about Hate and Discrimination. We are all in this together. So in the period between 2020 and 21, we held 8 webinars on a number of topics, which included disability rights or human rights, the right to community-based living, among others. And all of these events and webinars, or a large number of them anyways, can be found archived on our website, and I will speak to that later. The other thing that we have published is the bystander intervention training in public spaces. There were 2 in December that were had a good turnout. And this is one of the things that I was actually involved in, and it was over a 4-month period of time. We collaborated with the New York State Police, the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office, the Dutchess County Emergency Response Team, on hate crime, what it is and what it is not. And it was very educational for a lot of us. I know for myself it definitely was. And this, we discussed it for 3 to 4 months with those different groups, and then we had a panel discussion which we did back in December of last year. So that talks about how do you characterize a hate crime, what is the criteria for actually establishing that it is a hate crime, and what are the opportunities for prosecution, etc. So that again was very informative, and again that webinar is out on our website. The FDR Presidential Library and Museum, the Eleanor Roosevelt Center at Valkill, there's the International Human Rights Day events. In 2023, it will be the 75th anniversary of the Declaration of Human Rights, which, by the way, was born in Dutchess County. So we are working towards that program as well. Outreach presentations and community days, and this kind of town and village outreach project to promote a stronger presence and develop relationships with officials like yourselves. And of course, encourage dialogue to bridge conflict and facilitate information exchange. Our other mission is to foster mutual respect and understanding among all groups. So along those lines, we have had these dialogues which are called 100 Cups of Coffee, which again, the goal is to help improve community relations by providing space for people to come together and talk about anything of concern to them. And there actually have been 16 different sessions within the 100 Cups of Coffee, correct? Again, there were listening sessions held around the county to learn about the strengths and challenges faced by the people. We also facilitated conversations, listening sessions for specific groups. For instance, there was an event where, or I would say rather, there was a Nazi flag that was hanging in the town of Poughkeepsie for a while, and eventually it was taken down due to a lot of collaboration and discussion. There were also listening sessions with members of the Asian American community who were targeted after the outbreak of COVID, as I'm sure we are all aware. Police Reform and Modernization Collaborative, we serve on work groups and different kinds of work groups. For instance, I am a member of 3 to 4 different work groups. And we facilitated 7 community forums for the public to give their ideas about improvements to policing. COVID-19 outreach and support, Jody mentioned that. We talked about the food insecurity, but there were also educational webinars about COVID. Collaboration with the Dutchess County African American Clergy Association, the Jewish Federation, as well as All for One, which is another 501c organization based in Poughkeepsie. We did a United Against Hate March, which had a very good turnout last year in October. So basically, how do we interact? So the commission, particularly Jody's office, receives calls and contacts about a variety of issues. We respond by learning what the situation is, and then checking in with the person who reported it to see what they would like to see happen. And it is confidential. There are no details that the person has to provide in terms of their citizenship, etc. So that is one avenue for somebody to come forward with an issue that they might have encountered. So this contact from the public may result in a tailored referral to a local, state, or other resource. We have co-created events that are aligned with the Commission's purpose. And one example of that was the United Against Hate March, and also What is a Hate Crime, the panel. We want to develop a partnership and collaboration to identify and address human rights issues and respond to community concerns. So this year, for instance, there's 2 areas that we have been focusing on. One has to do with the inequity in housing, and the other one is youth engagement. So we are working with the Dutchess County Youth Council. We also have had some conversation with BOCES in terms of bringing youth communities together to talk about and engage positively in community efforts. So the commission, basically, in closing, I just want to say, and I don't know if I've exceeded my time, I hope not, but the commission can play a role with you as a resource for you and your community. And we hope that if there are any activities or events that should arise and it is a cause of concern, you will bring them to our attention so that we can work with you to address those issues. Thank you again for your time. And in your slides, you will see the last slide has information on how to contact or reach the Dutchess County Human Rights Commission. In fact, if you just Google Dutchess County Human Rights Commission, you will find our website, and there's many useful links in there. So do feel free to reach out, ask questions, and we look forward to having opportunities to collaborate with all of you. And please reach out to the views of the commission report.
Thanks so much. Does anybody have any questions?
Do you have regular meetings? Regularly scheduled meetings? How often do you, out of curiosity?
Monthly.
Monthly meetings
And right now they're still on Zoom.
by Zoom?
Mhm.
And am I correct in what I believe you guys are looking for the town to have a liaison?
Yes.
the commission? All right, so we'll discuss that amongst us, which ones are, who would want to maybe volunteer, and we'll probably appoint somebody at the next meeting.
That would be wonderful. I was just meeting with one of our liaisons today and had a really productive, great conversation, talking about some things that we're thinking of. And I do want to just, Jenna mentioned the housing piece. So we know that, and I just want to close again by saying, we know that there's a housing crisis. There's certainly in the country. Dutchess County is experiencing that as well, of course. And so this is something that the commission is learning directly from the housing professionals that are working here in the county and regionally, more about this situation, what it is, and what role, if any, we can have. I do also want to, you may have already seen it, but the county just released in April a housing needs assessment. It is in on the county website and has a very, it's very thorough and is in 3 parts, really looking at what the problem is as this assessment sees it, what can be done, solutions going out for the next 20 years. So I highly recommend taking a look at that. The executive summary is very succinct and very helpful. And I think, this is one of the things that we're highlighting as we're talking to communities around the county is, who is being affected by the housing crisis, right? I'm sure you can think of at least one example, if not many, of people even that whether they be in your family, friends, et cetera, business, who are being affected. This study really makes clear senior citizens, we will have more households with aging populations going forward in the next 20 years. So although the population is shrinking, more people will be living on their own, and the population is aging. And so right now, housing, people aren't necessarily moving from a place because there's nowhere for them to go, right? So that's part of it. People with disabilities. It's really affecting so many people here in the county. And so we're looking at ways that we can bring some value to conversations around that. So I encourage you to take a look at this if you haven't seen it already, as a resource. Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize for the background noise you may be hearing. We're having some technical difficulties with the video tonight. We may not be live on TV, but it is being recorded, so it will go out at some point. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 12th, 2022 public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 12th, 2022 town board meeting. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 19th, 2022 bid opening. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I make a motion to approve the minutes of the August 1st, 2022 special meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I will open the meeting to public discussion if anyone has something to talk about that's on the agenda. Anyone? All right, we'll skip that. Moving on to supervisors' comments. I apologize, they may be a little long tonight. The town hall air conditioning has been out of service for a little over a month, making things a little uncomfortable for any of the groups that meet in this room for various activities. Our service company has been waiting for parts they needed to fix it, and it looks like we will get it fixed around August 16th. So fingers crossed on that. Last month, we approved a local law to increase the allowable income limit on our senior citizen property tax exemption. It increased the maximum allowable income for someone in the program to $29,000 from $24,000. But just yesterday, Governor Hochul signed legislation making it permissible for towns to increase that limit to $50,000. So I haven't seen any guidance about how the sliding scale of the income is going to work. But even though we just updated our law, this new information means that I will be introducing another update at next month's meeting. And it should encompass many more seniors in our community. In the past few months, I've used this time to update residents on the status of our Community Choice Aggregation Program. As of July 19th, 2022, Hudson Valley Community Power customers were returned to Central Hudson Electricity Supply Service as a result of a default by the program energy supplier, Columbia Utilities Power. Customers will no longer receive a fixed rate for 100% renewable electricity supply through the Community Choice Aggregation Program. In returning to Central Hudson, customers will also return to a variable electricity rate. The amount of residents pay per kilowatt hour will change each month. The electricity will no longer be 100% renewable. Residents will not experience any interruption in service. However, the transition back to Central Hudson took place midway through the customer billing cycle. So customers are going to receive one bill for the electricity used before the transition at the community power rate of 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour, and another bill for electricity used after the transition, the July Central Hudson rate of around 6.17 cents per kilowatt hour, and that rate is expected to go up next month. Prior to the transfer, participants had collectively saved in excess of $8 million through the program's fixed electricity supply rate since program renewal in July of 2021, a savings of between $300 and $400 for the average household. In addition to savings, the program's 100% renewable supply has significantly reduced our community's carbon footprint and advanced our clean energy goals. The early return of participants to Central Hudson was prompted by Columbia Utilities failing to meet the requirements of the New York grid operator, New York ISO. According to New York ISO website, quote, "The New York ISO, by correspondence dated July 12, 2022, declared Columbia Utilities in default for failure to comply with New York ISO's creditworthiness requirements. Columbia Utilities remains in default under the New York ISO's tariffs." In June, Jewel and participating municipalities commenced a lawsuit against Columbia in Ulster County for breach of contract, and on June 7th, the court granted the request for a temporary restraining order prohibiting transfer of customers back to Central Hudson. On July 26th, the New York Department of Public Service, Office of Investigations and Enforcement submitted a letter to the court stating that the DPS has initiated an independent administrative investigation into the actions of Columbia and its officers, agents, and employees to investigate why Columbia defaulted on its obligations to the municipalities and the New York ISO, citing questions about Columbia's finances and underlying energy supply contracts as reasons for the investigation. Personally, I'm disappointed that Columbia will not continue to honor its obligation and promises to its customers in this community. It is encouraging to learn that the State Department of Public Service has officially launched an investigation into Columbia's actions. The public deserves answers about why Columbia dropped them, and I'm grateful that the DPS is now demanding those answers. Jewel will also continue to demand answers in their existing court case. I want to be clear that if you are enrolled in community solar, which is separate from the community choice aggregation, this will not have any impact on you, on your solar portion. Hudson Valley Community Power customers can call the support team to answer any questions. You can call 845-859-9099, extension 5, or email solutions@jewelcommunitypower.com. And they will put information and updates on their website, hudsonvalleycommunitypower.com. That's the end of that. We're going to move on to liaison reports. Elliot.
Okay, let's see, planning board met twice, looked at a range of applications. Was one special use permit for an accessory dwelling, one short-term rental, 2 variances, a subdivision, and a soil erosion and control plan. The zoning board of appeals met once, ruled on a variance, and held a continuing discussion about Cornerstone at Rhinebeck, which will in all likelihood be voted on at the next ZBA meeting, which will be as scheduled, I believe. It's scheduled for August 31st. It will not be on the 4th Thursday this month because of people being away on vacation and whatnot. So it's been rescheduled, I believe, for the 31st. I have good news. I'd like to take a minute to talk about our cemeteries. We actually will be voting later in the meeting on a committee. This is something we've been thinking about and sort of half-heartedly working on for the past 2 or 3 years. We now have 3 volunteers, which is 300% more than we had 2 weeks ago. So that's a good sign, and it also encourages me to put out there for anybody who's watching or will be watching once we get the technology squared away. We're looking for more people, more volunteers, and so if anybody out there is interested, contact me, contact Michael, Carol, and throw your hat in the ring. We would love to have you.
Thanks. Dean.
So the zoning revision meeting was supposed to be scheduled for next week, but since we have a few that will not be able to attend, we will postpone it until, I guess, the first Wednesday in September.
Yeah. I don't know what date that is.
I'm just thinking Labor Day.
That's the 7th, I want to
Be the 7th of September, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and all the notes and changes have been put on our website, and so if you want to see the changes and where we're at up to this point, you can certainly go to the Town of Clinton website, and that information will be there.
Great.
And a report.
Thanks, Dean. Catherine?
The reports for the library and the highway and the CAC will be on the website. I just wanted to touch on a couple quick things. This Friday, the 12th, there's a joint library and rec department event that has been dubbed Date Night. Date Night, Town of Clinton style. It's going to be a concert with a food truck. I believe the food's going to be provided by the Golden Russet. And also, there will be a movie. So, big doings down at Fran Mark. So,
And the movie is Top Gun?
Top Gun, I believe, is the one that's been chosen.
Mhm.
And then I
Thank you.
wanted to mention about, in reference to the highway, the Salt Pine Turnpike from Stewart's and going all the way through to the hamlet, there's been, for many, many years, complaints about the speed with which people travel through there and the safety. And for many years, many board members have worked on this issue. But we've been talking about it a lot lately as well. And we even discussed as a group and with Highway the possibility of new signage. Well, it turns out that New York State doesn't have any signage that's approved that will really help. So I just want to mention it so that those people know that we have not forgotten about them. It is on our minds. We are doing what we can, but there's not a heck of a lot that we can do. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, we're going to do a bit of an update on ARPA. I haven't done it in a couple of months. So you all have the spreadsheet I sent out to you. The stuff that's highlighted in yellow are things that have changed since the last update. We received our second payment of $217,000 and a little bit more than that this past month. The Laserfiche project of scanning things is moving ahead. We have now determined the size of all of the things that we're scanning, and we've decided how we're going to split it up into 3 different shipments up to them to scan and send back. And so I'm waiting on them to tell me what schedule they have and when they're going to make their first pickup. The highway heating is moving ahead, and the new TV studio, which I'm hoping that's what the technical issues are tonight, is that it's just new. It turns out that we had approved $25,000 for that, but when they did the install, there was an IP controller and associated cabling that they needed to purchase that put the project at $26,464.65. So I would like to make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board amends a previous resolution of March 8th, 2022, the purchase of a television equipment package from MJM Television, known as Option 3 in their price quote, increasing the total amount spent on the project from $25,000 to $26,464.65 using ARPA funds. Is there a second?
Second.
Elliot? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. The Wi-Fi's been installed at Fran Mark Park. We are going to post the password to the Wi-Fi network so that people down there can start using it, because right now it works really well for those who have the password. And we're currently at $3,200, I believe, $3,210.60 for a project that we approved $10,000 for. So I'm waiting for an update on cameras. We did have a meeting with networks. What are they called? Network security, general security, and they gave us a quote for cameras that was way over our budget. So the cameras we've used in the past have been simple cameras that we bought online where we caught people doing vandalism down there. So I think Chris is going to look into that a little more with Dan and see if we can get a few more of those cameras and install them. The Masonic Hall painting is getting close. We're having issues with the required insurance coverage with our chosen vendor. Pete Satara and Nicole Morton are working to resolve that issue. Later tonight, we're going to discuss the CDBG grant for Friends Park and offsetting some of those costs with either ARPA or the subdivision fund. And, oh, I already said that, so I think that's the only updates to this. And which should leave us with about, I mean, before we approve anything later tonight, it leaves us right now with about $167,000 left in ARPA funds that have not been approved for spending. And we still have 2.5 years left. So I think that's it. Any other discussion?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Moving on to budget calendar. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the 2023 budget calendar attached. Is there a second?
Second.
Where, for the town's interest, we're quickly approaching budget season where the town board will hold a series of meetings and public hearings leading to the adoption of the 2023 budget for the town. All dates and times will be posted on the town website. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we've got 3 motions for the CDBG grants, and we'll have a discussion afterwards. Well, we should have a discussion beforehand to see how we're gonna pay for these. So the total of the 3 lowest bids is 150, this is for a fence around the baseball field. It's for a handicap ramp leading to the pavilion at Friends Park, and then installing an ADA compliant bathroom at Friends Park. And the total for those 3 bids was $157,341. The grant total that we were given last year was for $98,700. That leaves us with a shortfall of $58,641. Obviously, this is a result of the supply chain issues and inflation that we've all been experiencing. I think the project is very important for the community. I've spoken to the coaches and parents involved with Taconic Little League, and the state of the baseball field fence at Friends Park is pretty deplorable. It's becoming a danger to the children that play there. So our options to cover the shortfall include using ARPA funds, or the subdivision fund, or even a combination of the two. The subdivision fund has approximately $91,000 in it currently, and as I said, we have $167,000 left in ARPA funds. So does anybody have thoughts on this?
Wasn't there some discussion about going back to the county to renegotiate the,
Well, so what we did is, originally in this grant was also to replace playground equipment. That's been removed. The county was fine with that, and,
Right.
but really the negotiations with the county at this point is to give us an extension. Because of all these delays, we only have until, I think, the end of October to finish the project, which we'll probably not do. So we're gonna apply for an extension that will give us into next spring. And Pete Satara is working on that, but you can't really apply until October.
of course, the numbers we're talking about may be different by next spring. Prices may go up, in other words.
Yeah, so we're trying to get it done in the fall. They think they can even do the fence as late as November if all of the materials come in, so that it would be available for spring baseball.
And we get it at the price that's currently quoted.
And it's the price that's
So
currently quoted.
the other things they would do now.
Yeah, the other two, the walkway and the bathroom, can happen almost immediately.
So what was the total again, 150
It's
something?
$157,341. So we are short $58,641.
So we have 91,000 in the,
We have 91,000 in the subdivision fund and
sorry.
167,000 in ARPA.
So having a combination of splitting it in half,
That's what I was
taking some from
Yeah.
each. My only concern of depleting the rec fund is the fact that we haven't had any subdivisions, and it doesn't look like we'll have any subdivisions going forward, so that's not going to be replaced.
Yeah, there is currently one subdivision in front of the planning board for 5 houses on
it's
Pumpkin
only
Lane.
a 5 lot.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
it's not a lot.
It's a small one.
Um,
So you're saying put like half of it, 45,000 from the subdivision fund?
we
Is that
would
what you're
do-
suggesting?
It's 58 total, so
So about 30,000 each,
Oh, okay, you're right,
Half
sure.
of each.
$39,320
each?
each. That's out off the top of my head.
right.
Yeah, I like that idea, because then we're not cleaning either one out, but
Yeah, I think
we
so.
can still get it done.
Okay, so, Let me make these motions then, now that we have that. So I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the Meda Construction Incorporated be awarded the bid for the construction of the bathroom renovation at Friends Park at a cost not to exceed $33,731 and authorizes and empowers and directs the town supervisor to sign the contract. Do I have to mention how it's being paid?
No.
Okay.
No,
Sec-
you can't really use the subdivision funds until you have
Until
a
we
resolution.
do that, yeah.
so.
Okay.
Second. I'll second
Elliot
that.
seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves that Clove Excavators be awarded the bid for asphalt walkway at Friends Park at a cost not to exceed $42,730 and authorizes, empowers, and directs the town supervisor to sign the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves that WBE Fence Company be awarded the bid for the fence at Friends Park at a cost not to exceed $74,900 base bid, with the award for the EnviroSafe top rail padding at a cost not to exceed $5,980, for the total award amount of $80,880, and authorizes, empowers, and directs the town supervisor to sign the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, moving on to new business.
Did you say we have to do a resolution, Carol, for how the money is being paid?
Yeah, you need a permissive referendum to spend the subdivision funds, so Mike will handle that next.
So we'll handle that next month, yeah.
Got it, okay.
So, moving on to new business, escrow funds. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves resolution number 33 of 2022, authorizing the return of unused escrow to the Clinton Alliance Church. Is there a second?
Second.
What was that for?
That was my question.
So
Coming
here we
out
go.
too.
I'll give my description.
You were here.
So it was actually,
I don't remember.
I don't really know what it was for either.
It's been a number of
It
years.
was
was
since
that building.
2004.
Is that building?
Yeah. So
2004.
Deputy Supervisor Werner brought it to my attention in one of our monthly budget reports from Van Nostrand that we had a large number of inactive TA accounts. There's a ton of them on there.
Yes.
And these are escrow accounts set up by applicants in front of our planning board and ZBA, with funds being used to cover attorneys, engineering fees incurred by the town. And it's the responsibility of the applicant to ask for the return of any, for the return of any remaining funds at the resolution of their application. But it's become clear that many of these applicants did not do that, and the town is also not permitted to keep their money. We should make a good faith effort, in my opinion, to return the money or send it to the state as abandoned funds. So over the next following months, I intend to reach out to people that I can find on the list to see if we can get them their money back. But to make sure that we had a process that worked, I decided to start with friends of ours next door
I bet it-
at the Clinton Alliance
I
Church.
bet it was for the building next door.
Yeah.
2004. Yeah.
So I have 3 others that I'll be working on for next month, and there'll be more in the coming months. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves a firework permit be issued to Malaya Vineyard for September 4th, a private event, as all conditions have been met. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the contract with Legion Fireworks for Community Day fireworks at a cost not to exceed $5,000, and authorizes, empowers, and directs the town supervisor to sign the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I just want to point out that Community Day is September 3rd, still looking for vendors.
And this, and this is being paid through fundraising through that,
This is,
right?
yes,
From
and
that?
this $5,000 is coming through fundraising in the community. We are dangerously close to being able to cover the fireworks, the bathrooms, sanitation. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the purchase of additional liability insurance for Community Day fireworks at a cost of $875. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the attendance of ZEO, or Municipal Code Enforcement Inspector Jeff Newman, and Planning Board Member Paul Thomas to the Association of Towns School regarding short-term rentals at a cost of $90 each. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the attendance of Building Inspector Mike Cosenza, Municipal Code Enforcement Inspector Jeff Newman, and Planning Board Clerk Arlene Campbell to an online training for the IPS program at a cost not to exceed $450 total. It's $150 each. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Just to say, this is something that Mike Cosenza and Jeff have been asking for since Jeff has come in. It'll really help them streamline things in the office. Right now, when they need some stuff, they kind of basically have to ask Arlene for everything, and this will, as information gets put into the IPS system, they'll be able to find history of parcels on their own without spending up so much of Arlene's time. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the attendance of town justices Barbara Seelbach and Jim Brands to mandatory judicial training scheduled to take place from October 30th to November 2nd, 2022, at a cost not to exceed $2,000 in total. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves Highway Superintendent Todd Martin to attend the Highway Superintendent's Education Symposium, September 20th to 23rd in Ellicottville, New York, at a cost not to exceed $1,400. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Todd did have previous training this year, but that was for something different, and this is really important training for him to go to. So in the motion to move funds tonight, I did make sure that there was enough money in his training fund to afford this.
Is this an annual thing, or is this?
This one is the annual one. The last one he went to isn't necessarily annual.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the legal fee agreement regarding the litigation with Columbia Utilities and authorizes, empowers, and directs the town supervisor to sign the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
So, in my supervisor's comments, we talked about the litigation that's going on to hold Columbia Utilities accountable for what they've done. We were hoping that there would be a settlement at one point where Columbia would provide all of the communities with some sort of financial award, and we would use that to lower the electricity costs for everybody that was signed up for the CCA. That is no longer happening, so the settlement talks are no longer happening. Now it's downright litigation. But thankfully, the PSC has stepped in, and they are leading the litigation. But Jewel is still involved, and they've spent about $100,000 so far. They don't expect to spend much more than that because PSC is now leading the litigation. But they would like us to authorize that if a settlement is reached, or when a settlement is reached, they would be paid first. They would be reimbursed for their legal fees first, because they're fighting on behalf of the towns. And that's what this would do. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Dean already mentioned, I was going to add that the zoning revision is canceled for this Wednesday the 17th. Resignations and appointments. Elliot.
Okay, well, it's time to make this cemetery committee official. Before I do that, I should recognize Judge Brands, because he was the one who said the 300%. So I want to give credit where it's due. Okay, just for the record. Anyway, I would like to make a motion that the town board approves appointment of Lori Brands, Lynn Tompkins, and Patrick O'Hara to the cemetery committee for a partial one-year term from August 9th, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, at no pay. Sorry.
But lots of gratitude.
Sorry, no pay. And stature, lots of stature. lots of
Second.
status.
I second that. Any other discussion? Thank you, Lori. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Dean.
I make a motion, be it resolved, the town board approves the August general fund warrant vouchers number 351 through 408 totaling $49,247.73, and the August Highway Fund warrant vouchers number 169 through 197 totaling $98,205.87. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the supervisor's report for July. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Sorry, there was no discussion. Any discussion? Aye. Motion carried. Oh, I missed one.
You missed
Yeah, sorry about that. I
moving.
make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves resolution number 34 of 2022, a motion to move funds at the August 9th, 2022 town board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At this time, we can open the floor to public discussion if anyone has a comment. Does anybody intend to speak? All right, let me open it. I make a motion to open the meeting to public discussion. Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd like to say that Clinton Community Day is going very well, and hopefully it's going to be very successful this year. Couple things, I'd like to thank Anne Marie Tucker from Chabot Lane. She's been doing our signs and our banners. She's got together with the Clinton summer camps down to the park. They're going to be doing the banner to start the parade off this year, and Anne Marie's going to be donating that. So thank you, Anne Marie. Also, Don Estes from East Clinton. Don's been working with us with the permits and setting everything up over there. So I'd like to thank Don Estes with that. Rich Morris and Greg Marshall with the Historical Society helping us with the usage of the parking lot and the building and stuff. So I'd like to thank those guys. The next meeting for Clinton Community Day is Thursday, 6:30 at the Historical Society building. We still need donations for supplies, trophies, ribbons, fireworks. We got the garbage, the porta potties, and everything else still to cover costs. So we're still looking for donations for Clinton Community Day.
And the program.
Oh, and the program also. That's going August 16th, I believe, 16th or 17th. That's going to be going out to print. All right? Thank you.
Thanks. And I'd like to add that if a business makes a donation, or an individual, $50 gets you a quarter page in the brochure, $100 gets you half a page, and $200 and up gets you a full page. Whoever makes the largest donation will get the back of the brochure and a color advertisement. Anybody else? I make a motion to return to the regular order of business. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else?